Hey guys, Max from Car Review Club here, and today we've got a very special video. In today's video, we are going to be comparing my friend's BMW 1 Series with my Audi A3. Which one's going to be best? Let's find out. So, this right here is James.
Hi.
And this is his BMW 1 Series.
128 Ti.
128 Ti, absolutely. He wanted to make sure that was in the video because this is the sportier version of the traditional 1 Series.
Yeah.
This has what, a 2-litre engine?
2-litre engine. I think it has around 265 brake horsepower. Pretty powerful car actually. 0 to 60 is around 6 seconds.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a pretty quick car, this one.
And from the front, what you'll see if we just come over here, it's got this black grille, black accents. You went with the Pro Pack, didn't you? Which normally the 1 Series has. So there's not too many differences between the standard 120i or 118i and the 128 Ti from the front. If you go with the Pro Pack, it's more just the back of the car and the engine that's different. But this is a really cool feature, I will say.
Yeah, I love the blend. You know, I think what really sold me was the silver black contrast.
Yeah.
I think that's really good. In terms of the differences you mentioned, yeah, the standard 1 Series is, I think it's got 1 exhaust pipe, for example. Look, I'm not the most car enthusiast person here, he is, but you know, if I was to take any difference, you know, from the traditional 1 Series, you've got 1 exhaust. This has 2 exhausts, so it's a bit sportier. I think the exhaust sounds a bit meaner, more aggressive when you start it up compared to the normal 1 Series. So yeah, there's definitely some sportier elements of the 128 Ti compared to the 118, for example.
Absolutely. And I really like my A3, of course. I've had this now for about 6 months, around the same time you've had yours. Obviously, mine's
I think I've had mine a bit. I got mine last year.
Oh, fine. Okay. So I went for the S-Line version. I probably would have chosen the black edition instead of the S-Line in retrospect, but the deal that I got on this was crazy, and we'll do another video of that when I kind of talk about the numbers. But the S-Line is still really sporty. I don't think I would have wanted to go for the sport model or anything less than that, because you don't get the S-Line badge, you don't really get the LED headlights, you don't get this kind of silver around the grille. It's a little bit more basic, but what do you guys think? From the outside, does the Audi look better or does the BMW look better?
Mine looks better. But what I will say is that I do have a soft spot for the Audi A3. I used to own one of these, exactly the same as Max's, just in a different colour. I traded it in though for the sportier 128 Ti. I'm going to go with the BMW, of course.
Alright, so now we're going to have a talk about the interior of James's BMW 128 Ti. So first let's go ahead and open the door. Oh, hi James. Right, we're going to come inside here and instantly it feels worse than the Audi A3.
Why is that exactly?
No, it does feel nice when you're in here. I mean, you've had both the Audi interior and the BMW interior, and in your honest opinion, which one do you think is better?
I think the BMW is much better made.
What makes
I
you
have
think
to
that?
say, but I think with the Audi, I think there's a bit more. What's the word I'm looking for? Maybe scratchy plastics around the place. It just feels more well built, just around all these areas. That doesn't really make a difference.
You're right.
If you like, but it just feels a bit more well built. I think that's what sold me to the BMW over the Audi. I also really like this. You know, in the Audi, you had that small toggle where, you know, you've got the small toggle, don't you? So, but with this, I like having it's not a gear stick, it's an automatic, but it's nice having, you know, something that's just something you could grab.
Sure.
Yeah, I do like that. And I also think it's a lot easier to navigate things around here. So, you know, you could, if you got your buttons, it's very buttonless, your Audi. But I think this car, there's many buttons. So, and
you like that?
I prefer buttons. I don't like the touchscreen stuff. I much prefer just, you know, having a button to push. Okay. So that's definitely attracted me to the.
I do like the red accents as well. You've got.
Yeah. So this is the Ti.
Badge.
Obviously, this doesn't come in all BMW models. This is pretty standard that it will just be without something like this. But because this is the M Sport, the 128 Ti there, red stitching there. Got the red stitching around there. You got your standard. What's it called? Digital display over here.
Absolutely. And what's your MPG? Let's just talk about that. What's your average MPG?
Do you know what? I don't actually know at the moment what my miles per gallon is. But what I will say is that it can be harder in this car to get the best fuel consumption sometimes.
'Cause it's so fast.
Yeah, but I think on shorter journeys, when you're doing that, it's just the mile counter goes down a lot quicker. When you're on the motorway and you're doing longer journeys, it tends to go up quite nicely. But what I found is that if I just want to drive to the shops, for example, I'll be on 150-mile range, and then by the time I've gone to the shops and back, I'm on 135, and it's not a 15-mile drive.
No,
so it's like a 4-mile drive all round trip. So the shorter journeys can definitely have an impact, but when you do your longer journeys, the range, the miles per gallon, it definitely increases, and I think that's pretty standard across most cars, but it's definitely noticeable in the 128.
And let's just give a point of view here. So I'm going to let James hold the camera. So that's what you can see from James' point of view.
Because I got the 128. I don't think this comes in the standard 1 Series, but I've got the paddle shifters here, so I can use the paddle shifters. If I wanted to. Basically what I do is I just flick that to the left. The car's off, so I can't change that at the moment, but I could change to use these paddle shifters if I wanted to. You got your standard digital display over here, and basically you'll have your speed over here, your rev counter over here. I've also got a heads-up display, which I think looks pretty cool. It's just very nice having a heads-up display.
That doesn't come with the Audi, actually.
It doesn't come with the Audi.
It doesn't.
No, it came as an extra on this, and I thought I have to have it. So, but yeah, this is what it looks like from my point of view, and yeah, it's a very comfortable place to be. I think, and it feels for me, it feels sporty, feels enclosed. As I say, I love this. I love being able to move this about, and heated steering
I always
wheel.
find that this bit here, if you want to show them this has stayed on BMWs for years.
Yeah, and I think it's.
Do you actually use that?
Yeah, you do, because basically, so for example, these are shortcuts
to get to a radio station.
Radio station, to call someone you want. It's a simple shortcut. Very good. Very, very good. So if I just want to call someone and I've got them set up in this free thing, I can push like 3 and it will call the person I want who's at number 3. So yeah, these definitely help. And then here is where you'll have all your air conditioning stuff like this, things like that, and you can just change it using these buttons here.
The one thing I don't like about this car, because my dad actually has the same car, is these sport buttons here. When you're driving, and I've driven my dad's car, I've driven this car, it's very hard to actually find these buttons to change the mode.
Oh, do you know what? I don't even need to look down. I've just memorised that, where everything is. So home here, media. But the thing is, everything's set up how I want it. So I don't need to change much. But, I just sort of know where all the buttons are. By this point, I can just push it and I'll just know where everything is.
Nice. Well, what do you guys think in the comments about the interior of James's car? We're going to hop into the Audi now, just so we can see the difference. But yeah. I do like it now I'm in here. It's a really nice place to be.
I think it's a nice place to be.
All right, guys. So we're here in the better car. As you can see, you've got these really nice bucket seats. They are leather.
I missed that. In my car.
I mean, you're in them right now, and we were just in your car, but these feel a lot comfier. And I think that's what you're trading for the Audi versus the BMW. The Audi is the S-Line version. It's a comfy car. The BMW is a really great car. It's luxurious, but it doesn't have that potential same level of comfort. I've driven the 128 Ti to Wales before, and the trip was quite bumpy. The suspension wasn't as comfy, but again, that's comparing a 128 Ti to an A3. That's not comparing James's car to an S3. So I feel like maybe if you had the 118i, it might be a bit more comfortable inside. But another thing is, the Audi, you can see you've got the MPG straight away there. It tells you, because it knows that the fuel economy is going to be fantastic in comparison. So I'm currently getting 42.1 MPG on the way here. And yeah, that was my short-term memory. My long-term memory is about 35 MPG. So that's what you're expecting to get.
What I will say is, with these, I do think the dials are much clearer.
Yeah.
In compared to the BMW. I think the BMW. I think it's decent in the BMW, but you have all these different. So if you move across like that, I don't have that. I've got one setting.
Yeah. I've actually been watching Drive to Survive there. But yeah, no, you've got one setting, you're right, whereas with this it's a lot easier. When I'm in this car, it's much easier to find all the buttons that I want. I've got my drive select just down here. I don't have to switch between like sport, comfort, eco, pro. I just click on drive select and it just changes that through the modes, as you can see there, which is really easy.
But as I say, I don't miss this.
You don't. So this is what you were talking about.
This
you
is
don't
what I
miss
was
this
talking
little
about earlier.
gear lever.
See, I think it's still, you know, a nice little toggle, but
yeah.
if there's just no buttons here, I just wouldn't. I just.
You don't like it as minimalistic. You like having the gear.
I can see why
hold.
Audi have done this, but and you know, it's maybe a convenience point, but I just like buttons.
Yep. Well, Audi does have an abundance of buttons, but I can see what you mean by the center console here. I think they're much of a muchness on the air conditioning side of things.
Oh, that's pretty similar.
You've got the heated seats as well, but I don't think you have this sync button.
I don't have the sync button.
No.
You're right.
And that I find a bit interesting.
That you're right. That is one thing that is annoying because you can't. You have to push the buttons at the same time in the BMW to turn down. I don't think, unless I'm mistaken, I don't think I've got this button that allows me to do it at the same time.
I don't think so. There might be a setting for it, but no. But what do you guys think? This is the Audi interior. You've seen the BMW one. You've also got these really cool air vents here, which look like an aeroplane, which I think was
that's also something that's quite cool. It feels like seeing a Lamborghini Urus or something.
Well, thank you. Well, they are owned by the same company. I guess.
But basically that's how I felt sitting in this when I had this car. And that was a good feature.
So sitting in here again now,
sitting in here, it's a lovely car to sit in. There's no doubt about that. I just think with the bucket seats as well, that's something I definitely like. But I think in my car, you know, with the heads-up display, leather seats. I know you've got leather seats, but I've got them as well. And just all the buttons. It's a comfy place to be as well. It's a nice closed cockpit too. I like sitting in my BMW.
Lovely.
Go.
Alright guys, so let's see how much space the BMW 1 Series has in the back. James hasn't moved his seat at all, so we're going to go ahead and get in. Again, cloth here. Well, actually it's a bit of leather and some
part
cloth,
leather, part cloth.
It's part leather, part cloth. And we're in. And it feels fine in here. The one thing which is really strange about these BMWs is you feel like you're high up in the back. No joke, like I feel like I'm so high up compared to the driver, and it's an interesting sensation, and that makes me feel like I don't really have that much headroom, and I actually don't feel like I do in comparison to those people sitting in the front. But I do have a lot of leg room. I'm 6 foot, and James is, how tall are you? About the same?
Just underneath.
Just under 6 foot, and I've got loads of room. Like I'd be very comfy on a long journey, but I can feel the headroom being a bit of an issue. Now, you've also got 3 seats in the back, so let's go ahead and sit in the middle seat and see what that's like. Again, I'm pretty comfy. I've got enough space. I'm not sure whether you could. I don't know if you agree with me here, James, but I'm not sure you could have 3
I've
people.
managed to fit 3 people in
For a long journey. It would be tough, like
maybe for a
2
long
hours
journey
or so. But
yeah,
you could fit 3 people in here. But altogether, I don't think it's anything to be problematic about. It's a nice place to be, but it is strange how high up you feel in the back compared to the front. Have you sat in here in the back?
Yeah, I've sat in the back. I think I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. But what do you guys think? I mean, it's a really nice position to be in. And if you're in the middle, you can see how fast James is driving, which is always going to be fun as well. So yeah, it's really nice place.
Okay, now I'm going to get into the back of Max's Audi and do the exact same test we've just done with my BMW. And I'm not a car expert, but we're going to give this a go. So, getting into the back of Max's Audi here. And yeah, I think Max was talking about in my BMW, you feel a bit higher up, but you feel a bit lower down, I think, in the Audi in the back here. It is a nice place to be. There's some decent, legroom. Max seating position hasn't changed. There's some decent legroom here. Headroom, there's loads of it. So
do you feel claustrophobic, or do you feel okay?
I mean, I can't stretch out like this, but
I feel like there is more legroom in the BMW at the back than there is in my car.
Legroom. There's no net or anything like that to put your stuff in, but I don't think that's the end of the world, really.
But also, Audi have actually built in these kind of custom footwells as well, so you could put your knees in that.
I didn't even think about that
to make it a bit more spacious.
I didn't even think about that. But yeah, no, you're right.
Straight out the middle.
To the middle, I think
that's going to be
This is a
that is a squeeze.
Dear me.
Okay.
I think you can tell from how I'm sitting that's probably better in the BMW. I mean, I literally can't close my feet.
I agree.
This is actually, when I was looking at it, I thought actually this might be a bit more spacious. I am wrong. This is far less spacious in here than it is in my car. I would not want to be the middle passenger in this car.
Well, now we know if you are taking passengers in your car, probably best to get the BMW actually over the Audi, which is interesting. From a ride perspective, I think you'll be better off in the Audi, but from a space perspective, I think the BMW just has it trumped.
The middle seat, you may as well not have one. The way I'm sitting at this point.
Oh, fair enough. So guys, we're now here at the back of the car. Me and James just turned our cars around, and honestly, it's a landslide victory, I think, for the BMW. I love the look of that car from the back.
It does look nice. I love the 2 exhaust pipes as well.
It's not just the exhaust pipes; it just look like the tail lights as well. They just seem a lot more aggressive. And you've also got these side vents, which I think are available on the 118 as well. Again, maybe with the Pro Pack, but
I'm not sure that's on traditional 1 Series. I think it's not exclusive to the 128, but it comes with the 128 because it's a more sporty model. I'm not 100% sure.
It looks unbelievable from the back. I'm sure you can all agree on that as well. And I mean, if we just turn to the A3, I mean, this isn't a bad looking car at all. In fact, it's why I got it. I thought it looked great from all angles. You've got this little spoiler here, which for just a bog standard A3 is really nice as a feature. You've got these really cool and striking tail lights. I like that when you actually unlock the car, when you have the indicators, you get that little streak there. I don't think the BMW has that kind of LED effect if you unlock it right now.
Let me lock it, and I'll unlock it and see what happens. Oh no, I do get it.
You do, but it doesn't like it.
No, I know it's not
like a streak in effect. That's
so it flashes. It's not like your.
Well, yeah, these are the two comparisons. You've got the Audi here, you've got the BMW here. I think they both look great cars, but I think the BMW does have the Audi trump when you look at it from the back, 100%.
I'd agree.
What do you think? Let us know in the comments. Alright guys, so this has been today's video where we've compared the BMW 128 Ti with my Audi A3. Let us know what you think. Which one would you get if you had the option, if they were both priced the exact same? Of course, the 128 Ti is a more expensive car than the Audi A3, but you would compare this car to the likes of the new BMW 118 or 120i. So let us know your decision. See you all in the next video.